Okay, we are going to read A Better Way for the second time. And remember, A Better Way is a persuasive article. It states an opinion about an issue and then gives evidence to support their opinion. Remember, we're looking at the text features. This article is divided into sections and there's section headings. Here's an example of a section heading and then a section that tells us about it. Kind of think of it like little chapters in the article. Let's read A Better Way. Make sure that you have your book or your screen available to follow along. Make sure you have your pencil. Also, make sure that you have your worksheet ready to go. There's going to be quite a few questions this time as we read. So remember, we set a purpose. We're going to learn about a method of farming. And the method of farming that we talked about, or that we read about, was sustainable agriculture. That was the method that we learned about. So the pictures will still help us to understand what it is that we're reading, but pay attention because we're going to summarize. We're going to talk about the steps in a process. We're going to look at the text features. We're also going to pay attention to those details that are important. We're going to talk about the author's opinion and the evidence that they used, and then cause and effect as we read. So there's lots and lots of things we need to cover as we read. So here we go. Losing trees. Every year, many acres of Earth's precious forest are cut down. Sometimes people cut down the forest for wood. Other times, they cut it down to make room for cattle or large farms. Often, poor farmers burn a small area of forest to clear it of trees. In the cleared area, they plant crops to feed their families. This is called slash and burn agriculture. Now remember, down here you can look at what all of these bolded words mean again as we read. So here's the picture of slash and burn agriculture. It shows it as steps in a process. For all of these reasons, forests have been disappearing. Some people blame humans. They think farming is the problem. To them, the solution is clear. People should stay out of the forest. Farming must be limited, or people shouldn't farm very much. Okay, so we're going to answer the first question on your page. We're going to summarize. In your own words, retell the important ideas in this section. So in your own words, retell the important ideas in this section. If you need to go back and listen again to this section about losing trees and why people think farming must be limited and what did we learn about slash and burn agriculture, those are ideas you could include. Summarize in your own words. Retell the important ideas in this section. Pause the video and answer question number 1. Okay, question number 2, steps in a process. What is the second step in slash and burn agriculture? Here's your picture that shows you what slash and burn agriculture is. What is the second step? Write it down. This tells us the point where we found the information. I want you to write it down. What is the second step? A new solution. Paola Segura and Cid Simoes, who live in Brazil, have a different solution. They agree that we need to help save trees, but they believe that we need to help people too. They think that the way to help the earth and the farmers is to use a way of farming. It is called sustainable agriculture. Using sustainable agriculture, farmers use the same small piece of land over and over again to grow crops. That way, they don't have to find new land and cut down more forests. Now over here, this tells us about Segura and Simoes, and they met in Costa Rica at Earth University. They studied sustainable agriculture. They believe that farmers can earn money from a small piece of land. They can live there and raise their families. They can have healthy land and a community that lasts. So make sure you have your pencil and your paper. We're going to answer the third question on your paper. We're going to use text features. Does the heading on page 250, so this is page 250, here's the heading, a new solution. Does this heading give you a good idea of what this section is about? Explain. So the section heading is a new solution. Does this give you a good idea of what this section is about? Explain it to me. What is it that this talks about that helps you know it's a new solution? Pause the video and answer question number 3 on your paper. Question number 4, you're going to summarize. And you are going to write down the most important details on this page. I want you can use bullet points. Write down the most important information or details on this page. Pause the video and answer number 4. All right, helping farmers. Today, Segura and Samoas teach farmers about crops that grow well in the forest. Fruit trees and flowers can provide a good income. Fruit trees don't have to be replanted every year. Their deep roots help keep water and healthy nutrients in the soil. Some flowers, such as orchids, grow on less land than other crops. Farmers can sell their flowers to markets around the world. Branching out. To make a difference, many farmers need to grow crops this way. Segura and Samoas use a special plan to teach more farmers. It is called the 5x5 system. First, they teach one family how to grow crops that don't ruin the land. Then that family teaches 5 new families what they learned. Each new family teaches 5 more families. Think of all the land that could be saved in the future. So get your pencil, get your paper. We're going to answer question number 5. And question number 5 is about the details. What are 2 types of sustainable crops for a forest? You need to write down 2 types of sustainable crops for a forest. Pause the video. Okay, question number 6, you're going to summarize. Explain briefly in your own words how the 5x5 system works. If you cannot remember, go back to when I started reading about branching out. I want you to explain how this system works. Pause the video and answer number 6. Let's help farmers save land. Sustainable agriculture is good for the farmer. It is also good for the land. Here are 3 reasons why you should support this kind of farming. So here's their opinion, right? Now they're going to give us their reasons. First, sustainable agriculture lets farmers grow crops on the same land year after year. There's their opinion. Now they're going to give us some details. This is much better than slash and burn agriculture. When farmers stay on the same land, they build strong communities. Okay, now we're going to get their second reason, their second evidence to support their opinion. Secondly, sustainable agriculture is better for the forest. Farmers don't need to clear new land every year. Instead, they can grow high-value crops. That way, they can make money from a small amount of land. Some crops grow right in the forest. Farmers don't have to clear any land at all. So get ready with your pencil and your paper. We're going to answer the next question, opinion and evidence. What is the author's opinion about slash and burn agriculture? So what is the author's opinion? Now, it doesn't come out and say, I think that slash and burn agriculture is good, or I think slash and burn agriculture is bad or negative or bad for the environment. What is their opinion? Look on this over here and figure out what their opinion is about slash and burn agriculture. How do you know? What did they say in the text? How do you know? Then you're going to use text features. Oops, pause the video. Now we're going to use text features. Look at the photos. So look at these pictures, these photos right here. Name 2 plants that help save land. So of these, name 2 that help save the land. Pause the video and answer the question. Okay, we're on to our last page. Hang with me, you're doing a great job. Finally, so here's their last evidence to support their opinion. Sustainable agriculture keeps farmers farming. Every year, many poor farmers leave the land. They move to the city. This causes problems, such as unemployment. It also leaves the land without people to care for it. To save forests and help farmers, we must support people like Paola Segura and Sid Samoas. We must be a part of the sustainable way of farming. What can you do to help? So down here, you're going to answer 2 more questions. Author's purpose. What is the author's purpose for writing the article? We talked about it. What's his purpose? Persuade, inform, or entertain. How do you know? If you think it's entertain, how do you know? If you think it's to inform us, how do you know? If you think it was to persuade us, how do you know? Answer the question. Okay, the very last question. According to the text, what can happen when farmers are not able to keep farming? We read about that in the text. What happens if they're not able to keep farming? Find it and write it down on your paper. And then you're finished.